Hey guys, welcome to my December wrap-up and January TBR. I read 5 books in December, a little less than I wanted, but I got a little writing done, and I went on a week vacation to Portland with Giselle for Christmas, so I'm happy with what I was able to get through. I'm getting much better now at giving more time to reading physical books now that we're a little bit more settled into life here, and that makes me really happy especially. The first thing in December that I read was Retribution Falls, first book in the Tales of the Kelly J series by Chris Whitting. I know a lot of people have read this on BookTube, and a lot of people really like it, and so did I. It was a little less than I was expecting and hoping, but I still had a lot of fun reading it. I think my main problem with it was the way it was written. I just had such a hard time caring about the characters and therefore everything that was happening because of how straightforward they seemed to be, how straightforward the plot seemed to be. The things that were happening weren't all that original, despite being set in a really original world with a lot of really interesting ideas. It's very steampunk, and I was super looking forward to a steampunk pirate story, but it was just too safe as a story in my opinion. To be fair though, I really liked and cared about the characters by the end of it. It just took me a little while to get there, mostly because of the way it was written. For almost every important character, once we hit a certain point where we'd need to know something about that character's past, the plot just immediately comes to a halt, and we just spend pages and pages taking a look at the character's backstory, all in one go. As opposed to like spacing it out, putting it all throughout the book, giving some bit at a time instead of all at once, because when it comes all at once, it just seems lazy. It seems like massive exposition and just doesn't really come across the right way. I think the next one will be much better, as this one really laid the groundwork for good characters and great world building, and the next book will probably be able to build on that pretty well. So I'm looking forward to continuing on with it. The first thing that I'll listen to this month was something well past due, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is something that I've been meaning to read for a long time, and I'm glad that I finally have. I really loved Jane Austen's writing. It's super witty, really clever, and just seems like there's always some little witty thing in almost every single sentence that you really only see if you look for it. Overall, I didn't necessarily love the story or plot. The characters were great because of the way they were written, but the plot really wasn't all that interesting to me, if I'm honest. What really carried it was the writing and Jane Austen's humor, and I'm definitely going to be reading her other books at some point. Maybe I'll find one with a story I like more. Either way, I'll keep giving her books a shot at the very least because of how great her writing is. I actually got this next book as a Christmas present from my parents. We went back down to Maryland for Thanksgiving, and that's when they gave it to me. I knew that I wanted to start this in December, but I didn't necessarily expect to finish it. It's Stephen King's newest book of short stories, The Bazaar of Bad Dreams. Usually with short story collections, it's difficult for me to read so many right in a row, but with this one I was actually able to get through the whole thing like fairly quickly. Not all of them were great, of course. Some stories will always connect with certain readers more than others, but there were many that I really liked. The ones I liked most were the ones that were the creepiest, the most suspenseful, or based on the most interesting ideas. And there are a lot of interesting ideas in this one. If you enjoy short stories, Stephen King is a master of them. And this is just as good as overall as his other collections. The next two fit right along into the mystery mood I've been talking about for over half a year now. There's no end in sight to it, and I found a few more things to sustain it. The first being The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I read this really quickly. I finished most of it on the plane ride to Portland. Personally, I really enjoyed the experience of reading it. It wasn't the best thing ever. It was crazy depressing and really bleak, and none of the characters were even remotely likable, but the twists and turns were fun despite all that. It's a thriller, so it's fairly fast-paced, at least for most of it. This girl rides the train into London every day and sees the same thing each and every time. A couple she's sort of idolized and nicknamed Jason and Jess, though she doesn't actually know them. A few houses down from theirs is her old house she lived in with her ex-husband. She's still basically obsessed with him and obsessed with her old house, while her ex is already remarried and has a child. Just a bunch of things happen surrounding all of them, and she becomes entangled in that. Her obsessive personality really can't help it. We follow a few different women throughout the story and see their perspectives on everything. I think this was an interesting story and had some interesting themes, even if it was a bit problematic at times. The very last thing that I read, listened to, which I finished New Year's Eve, was In the Woods by Tana French. This is the first book in the Devlin Murder Squad series. A girl is murdered, found in the woods, and then investigated by Detective Ryan, whose childhood friends disappeared into those same woods when they were young. Him and his partner Cassie have this really great friendship. They connect super well and work together perfectly. There's a bunch of possibilities to who murdered this girl, and these two detectives must work through that. while Detective Ryan deals with his past and his memory as to what actually happened when his friends disappeared. I really, really like this a lot, especially the voice of Detective Ryan. There were a lot of characters in the book with really great character development. The story is fast-paced and well-written, and I really liked the writing in this one, and the twists were pretty fantastic. I really liked how the main conflict came to be solved, but the actual end of the story was not as resolved as I'd hoped it would be. Not sure if I'll ever have the closure I want on it or not, but I'm really happy that I've started the series. I can't wait to continue on with it. Really recommend it to mystery, crime, thriller lovers. So that's it for what I finished in December. I read a bit of a few more things, two things I started a while ago. I mentioned them before, Rainbow's End by Murder Binge and Here There Be Dragons by James A. Owen. It's taken me too long to read these, and in a perfect world I'll have them finished by the end of the month. But then I also began The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. I read Slate House in November before realizing that most people say to read The Bone Clocks first. Regardless, I really enjoyed Slate House, especially the writing and the way the characters were written. But now I just feel super compelled to read The Bone Clocks. I'm really liking it so far. I can't wait to keep going with it. I might also read The Ice Dragon by George R.R. Martin sometime this month, and possibly one of the Stephen King books that I showed in the haul video I uploaded yesterday. I'm leaning towards Insomnia. I'm currently listening to The Likeness by Tana French, second book in the Dublin Murder Squad series. The premise of this one is seriously awesome. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. We follow Cassie, Detective Ryan from the first book's partner, a little while after the end of In the Woods. After that, and I foresee myself getting to it this month, I'll also listen to the third book, A Faithful Place. I'm also going to be for sure listening to Death of Dolgath by Michael J. Sullivan, third book in the Reread Chronicles, and also Giselle and I are finishing up the Enchanted Forest Chronicles series by listening to the last book, Talking to Dragons. We're hoping to finish that this month too, and other than that, I'm not sure what I'll be able to get to or what I'm going to be in the mood for. We'll see. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of anything I've talked about in this video. Check out my new daily vlog channel with Giselle, link in the description. We just kind of really want to share and keep a record of our daily life together this year. We're going to be filming something each and every day for it, no matter how little or how much. We're really excited to keep this little record of our year and possibly future years and to share that with people. Subscribe to that if you're interested at all. And I'm about to film 3 top 5 of 2015 videos, top 5 series, top 5 standalones, and top 5 audiobooks. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with more.